Everybody, this is the anti-Pope, Greg Jovi, the best professional wrestling manager in the entire world, the best color commentator in the entire world, and the best home decor of anybody that has done this. And you're watching the I-70 Hot Tag.
This is Dan the Dad, your father's favorite wrestler, and you are watching the I-70 Hot Tag Podcast. And if you turn it off, you're going to be grounded.
This is the Mile High Magnum, Dak Draper, and you are watching the I-70 Hot Tag Podcast.
Hi, this is Shazza McKenzie, and you are watching the I-70 Hot Tag.
This is Alex Strahan, referee in Midwest Zebra, catching you outside the stripes, and you are watching the I-70 Hot Tag.
Reach for it. Reach for it. Reach for it. I'm Matt Seidel. This is the I-70 Hot Tag.
This is KLD Kevin Lee Davidson, and you are watching the I-70 Hot Tag Podcast.
Yeah, it's your boy, the hot topic, the baddest mamma jamma, the whole thing, Raheem De La Suede, and you are watching the I-70 Hot Tag Podcast.
This is the walking weapon, Josh Alexander, current, reigning, defending Impact World Champion, and you're watching the I-70 Hot Tag.
This is Joe Helms, and you are watching the I-70 Hot Tag.
Only one thing is important, and that's that my name is the Dread Nurse Roberts, and you are listening to the I-70 Hot Tag.
Hello, this is Gil Rogers, and you're watching the I-70 Hot Tag Podcast.
What's up, everybody? It is one half of the beautiful people and 7-time Women's World Champion Angelina Love. And aren't you lucky? You are watching the I-70 Hot Tag.
Hey, I'm Marcus Buff Bagwell, and you are watching the I-70 Hot Tag, baby. Check it out, and remember, no matter what, I'm buff, and I'm still the stuff.
And now, CR Media presents the I-70 Hot Tag with your host, Chaos Chase, and the real Josh Elliott.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome in to episode 62 of the I-70 Hot Tag. I am one of your hosts, the real Josh Elliott. Chase will be joining us here in a couple of minutes. He's running a little bit behind, but he will be here at any second. Tonight, we have a fantastic show for you tonight. We have Burt Cameron on the show. He's going to come in. He's got a big match coming up this weekend. We'll talk all about that upcoming, and want to shout out some of the comments already. Matthew Holland, he was commenting before the show started. Appreciate you joining in. Mick Thompson, looks like first time viewer, sitting here by Chase, and Chase Riley in the comments, not here. He will be here in about a minute or two. Dean Houston, what's going on? Appreciate you joining in. Guys, like I said, this is episode 62 of the I-70 Hot Tag. We are currently live on our YouTube and our Facebook page at the I-70 Hot Tag. This is the first episode where we are not live on Twitch. We announced that on Monday's Pit Stop episode. We are going to solely broadcast our show on our YouTube and our Facebook platforms, and no longer go live on Twitch for the Hot Tag or the Pit Stop. So we, unfortunately, if you guys are not on the YouTube or the Facebook, then you guys can also follow us on our Instagram page, our Twitter page, and our TikTok page at the I-70 Hot Tag. We post exclusive clips of our shows on our TikTok page. So if you guys don't follow us there, go give us a follow. If you're in the chat, guys, we see you guys commenting. Give us a like, the heart emoji, whatever you guys want to do on Facebook. Like it on the YouTube page. It helps the algorithm, helps us out greatly. We appreciate everybody tuning in. So you can also follow me on my personal page at The Real Josh Elliott. I'm on Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. But like I said, for all that local independent wrestling news, content, all that good stuff, it's at the I-70 Hot Tag. So go check that out. We greatly appreciate that. Before we get into this, guys, I want to shout out our sponsors. Big Daddy's Donuts. That is our main event sponsor. They've got 3 locations, 2 in Raymore and 1 in Belton. If you guys are in the South Metro area in the morning, traveling down 49 Highway, and you're in the mood for some donuts, go check them out. Right off 58 Highway is all 3 of their locations. Like I said, 1 in Belton and 2 in Raymore. Mick, where's Chase? Running late. He'll be here in a minute. Don't you worry. Second sponsor is Dean's Trophies in Belton, Missouri, and in Lee Summit, Missouri. There's 2 locations. They engrave trophies. They make plaques. They made our t-shirts, the I-70 Hot Tag t-shirts that you see us selling at our events. They have those as well. So lots of options for Dean's Trophies. Go check them out if you're in the market for any sort of t-shirt, trophies, all that good stuff. They also engraved all of our fantasy football trophies. So we are a few years behind, but nonetheless, they did engrave the names of the winners over the last couple years. So shout out to our guest last week, Gil Rogers. It was a super fun interview, guys. If you guys aren't familiar with him, he just returned to Central States Wrestling last weekend or 2 weekends ago. Had a match against Orion Starlight. So it was super fun to get him, back on the show and talk about his return. He's also known as Rory Fox, which we're going to see in the mid-show break. Rory's going to be at Trailblazer Championship Wrestling later this month, and he wrestles up in Iowa as Rory as well. So you can check that out on the YouTube on Video Library at the I-70 Hot Tag. We are slowly getting our podcast platform updated. I think I'm not sure where Chase is at with that, about a month or so behind. But we're getting that going. But all of our episodes, you can find them on YouTube and our Facebook. So just click on that live tab and you can find all of our episodes. So with that being said, let's check the comments before we go. Gears Akai, we see you. Appreciate you tuning in, sir. Matthew Holland, already here. Let Chase know I'm here. He knows. He's in the comments, Mick. He knows you're here. Uber is speeding. So hopefully Chase joins us very, very soon. So like I said, guys, we have a special guest tonight. I do the intros normally anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and do that here tonight. So as we said, we have a man who has just currently won the Mid-States Kansas Heavyweight Championship. He's the first ever Mid-States Wrestling Kansas champion. You've seen him wrestle in XWE. We saw that on Monday night. He's wrestled for Mid-States Wrestling, traditional American pro wrestling. And this weekend, you'll see him defend his TAPW Light Heavyweight Championship against the illustrious Rey Leon. Please welcome our guest this evening with his buddy Dennis, two-belt Burt Cameron. Burt Cameron.
Yes, I'm here with Dennis. Nobody else could be by my side right now than Dennis.
Hey, Burt. Dennis. How you two doing tonight?
Oh, we're doing great. So we're just up here at the winery hanging out. You know, we wanted to bring some class to this show. So we've seen people cut these in their car, and we said, nah, we got to do better than that. You guys deserve more. So that's what we're bringing you tonight.
Hey, we appreciate that. Appreciate you guys taking the time out to do this. The I-70 hot tags, the whole premise of this show is to kind of get you guys on here, our local talent in the Kansas and Missouri area, and kind of get our viewers, to get to know you guys a little bit better. Some of the guys may be in St. Louis, or our viewers could be in north, south of the region. So, our whole platform, our whole concept is to kind of get them familiar with you guys. So, Chase usually likes to start every episode, every interview with the same question. So I'm going to kind of keep with that theme tonight. Can you tell us and our viewers, in your words, who is Burt Cameron?
I mean, with everything in front of me, champion. That's the one word you need to describe Burt Cameron. But I mean, it really just matters on where I'm at, if I'm running face or if I'm running heel. As a man with morals. Yes, Dennis.
I got some words to describe Burt Cameron.
We're gonna let you talk later. But as a man with morals, as a face, I like to say that I'm trying to win wrestling matches the right way. I'm trying to do it like nobody else is doing right now. They want to be the heel. They want to come out and be the tough bad guy, and then still get over. And that's just not how it works. Like I'm out there, winning the right way, especially down at Mid-States. I'm babyface to the roof up there, and love every second of it. And then you turn around and you get heel mode, and we take it to a whole nother level of we're better than everybody because we do have morals. The world's lost its moral compass, and we're just here to get them back on the right track and explain to everybody why we're that much better than them.
Yeah, it was funny when Chase and I first started this. We went to a show in Kansas City, and we used Ethan Price, the big strong boy, as an example. He came over to Kansas City and was a massive heel, bad guy. The crowd hated him, and I turned on YouTube and I saw him wrestle in St. Louis the next weekend, and the crowd absolutely loved him. And it was just kind of a weird, something to get used to that one wrestler could be a heel in Kansas City and right across the state line, a baby face in the next town. So what's, which side of the aisle do you prefer? Do you prefer being a baby face or a heel?
I really do enjoy being a baby face because it's more of a challenge. It's a lot harder to get people to feel sorry for you. And that was what I said when I first started. Like, naturally, I've always played sports. I've always been a trash talker. So being a heel didn't seem like a challenge to me. And I've proven that. I go out and my heel work, I've gotten a ton of compliments on. It was actually my very first singles match. I got compliments saying that my character work was, some of the best that people have seen. And they assumed that I'd been in the business for multiple years. And it was literally my second match within the first month that I started. So I figured I would be a good heel just because I'm quick-witted. I know what I want to say. I can point something out and just aggravate somebody. And that I didn't want to do that. I'll do it if, the promoter asks me to do it. But I really like running face because it's just more of a challenge to me.
So Burt goes both ways.
Yes.
So let's bring Dennis into this. When did you two, I guess, meet and become a unit? When did Burt and Dennis become one?
It's a lovely story. I was out walking on the beach one day, and along came this long-haired pretty boy, and I just swept me off my feet.
That's his way of saying that he showed up in a box one day at my house.
I love you, Amazon.
Let's bring on Chase. What's up, sir?
Hey,
Chase.
Absolutely. I would prefer it no other way, Burt. No other way.
So let's go ahead and continue this. Burt, kind of talk to us about how you first you start off with your fandom of professional wrestling, and then kind of how you first got into training and broke into the business.
Really, I've always been a fan. Watched it since the early 90s. Loved it. It was just an escape from reality, just like most people do when they watch wrestling. One of the girls that I worked with happened to text me one day. She goes, "Hey, I found out I got a long-lost brother, and he's a wrestler." And of course, I was over the moon. I was like, I got to meet this guy. Like, I just want to say I've met a wrestler. And it just turned into, hey, he trains people 20 minutes from my house. And I've been up here, trying to be up here every day since then.
That's awesome. So, Chase, sir.
Yeah, so Burt, we watched on Monday, XWE versus Blair Dior and Mike James. And then we also watched TAPW Duke Cornell. Kind of talk to us about those matches and how you felt during those matches.
That first one, the XWE match, was literally the day of I got notified. Like, I sent a text message to Billy, and they had a snowstorm, and they had a bunch of people back out on the show. And I had tickets to watch Colton Vaught do a kickboxing match, and the guy he was fighting ended up with the flu. So I had the open weekend. I said, hey, I can make it down. Throw me in somewhere. And it turned out to be one of my favorite matches that I've ever done. We went down there and just kind of called it out there on the fly. Had a couple of things worked out, but for the most part, just went out there and had fun. And it turned into one of my more memorable matches from working heel and just being able to talk.
So, that one of those belts in front of you, actually in front of Dennis, absolutely gorgeous, by the way. I do want to say, and I'll put this on record, it is way better looking than the Missouri heavyweight title. Ooh. Not saying that Missouri one doesn't look good, but that one looks gorgeous. I do want to
Well,
say,
you can,
wow, shots fired.
you can tell how good a belt is by how good looking the guy that they put it on.
There you go.
So,
So
Colton doesn't need a
we
pretty
send
belt.
our
I
apologies.
definitely do.
I apologize on behalf of the I-70 hot tag to Space Cowboy Jason Jones if you're watching.
Yeah. No offense. Yeah. But I did want to talk about mid states, right? I wanted to talk about that tournament run and that Kansas heavyweight title win that you had last month, I believe it was. Kind of talk to us about your time in mid states and working for Jason Jones, and then what it meant for you to win that title.
Mid States is home to me. Like, that's where I'm going to go if Jason needs me. Jason's got me, and I will be there every week that I can be, as long as I can go. Been going down there. That was actually where I had my first match. It's been July 23rd. It'll be my 1-year anniversary of matches, and really, it's week in and week out. Typically, one of the first ones there, so I can help set up, or if he wants to cut promos with Dennis. We get those in beforehand. We always tear down and just hang out. It's always a fun time at Mid States, and it's a real honor to get this opportunity and then to actually have the trust in Jason to be able to carry this championship.
Does Dennis come with you, heel or face?
Oh, Dennis is with me all the time. Most of the time, I make him sit at the merch table.
There you go.
Kids love me.
You got any? We'll get into this merch stuff later, but is there any Dennis merchandise we can?
There is not yet. I've had a couple.
Yeah, Bert. Where's the Dennis merch?
He's definitely more over than me. So, the night in Wichita was a special one. I had a kind of feeling like I might get a shot at it. It was a battle royal to declare the champion, and got told, hey, you're going over in this. All the hard work, dedication you put into this place, it's been noticed, it's been seen, and it was a great honor. Thank you, Dennis. And it was for the Special Olympics, and like I was telling everybody, I felt like I was kind of stealing it, even though I'm a face. Like I may have been maybe top 100 athlete in that building. So
you weren't even top 500 in that building.
There was a lot of people at that show.
I'm going to be honest with you, Bert. This is the first time we've ever done a show with a specimen like Dennis. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
Well, he's been working out. He just doesn't post his workouts like Rex Amadeus.
Oh, okay. Okay. Bert, Dennis, are you a fan of Rex Amadeus?
Is that the guy with the mustache?
I think it's the strongest mustache.
Yeah, well, that's debatable.
It is.
I guess he's all right.
Fuck, man. I like Dennis already.
Movies.
Yeah, I like Dennis already. Dennis, which is your favorite? The TAPW championship or the Kansas heavyweight championship?
Well, that's tough to decide. I mean, the TAPW title was first, but Burt's gained a couple pounds. The Kansas belt's awful pretty, but I'm a Missouri guy. I gotta go with the TAPW.
All right. I was making sure because I was watching you stroke that Kansas championship, and I was like, well,
I'm pretty fond of it. Don't let me lie.
I'm pretty fond of it too.
It's nice and pretty.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say I wasn't a big fan of it until I saw you rubbing it. So
he
I
loves
like
a lot of things.
When a guy like Burt wears it, you better make sure the belt's nice and pretty.
Heard that, and heard that too, Bert. I like to rub a lot of things too. So appreciate you guys joining with us. So Bert, I want to talk to you about an upcoming New Breed Wrestling show. You're on the poster for it. Can you talk to us about that event?
That is going to be my debut at New Breed, so I'm excited for that one. Been talking to him a lot of trying to get on the shows, just expand my horizons. And yeah, Dennis, we've got somewhere to go here in a couple of weeks. We've got TAPW on the 8th, and then we're going to Versailles.
France? We're going to Viva la France!
Do you have a passport? Of
course I have a passport. I'm cultured.
Okay, so he's like milk, I guess.
Yeah, I'm excited to see you down there at New Breed. Chase has been doing an event. He was at Warsaw sometime last year. I just went to Sedalia about a month or two ago, and we got a lot of viewers in our comments that are New Breed fans. So I'm sure they're excited to see you down there. Where do you remember what city that's in? Am I?
It should. I believe it's Versailles. It's a 2-day show that they're doing.
That's right. It is
on the 14th and 15th. So you're right. I may be butchering the name, but yeah,
that's how I would have said it.
Yeah.
So let's before we get in the match, let's not talk about the match yet. But I wanted to talk about your time in traditional American pro wrestling. It's a promotion that I know runs a few times a year. We've covered them a couple times, but this Saturday it's going to be a big show. So tell us what it's been like as the light heavyweight champion and the experience in TAPW as a whole.
TAPW is a blast. I love going in there. Mr. Fitness runs the whole thing. I mean, I feel like I've rose to the top of the whole promotion, and he lets me run heel. It's a blast. And I mean, it all kind of happened just on a whim. We went down, we ran a show for Crown in Siloam Springs, Arkansas. And I walked in, promoter looked at me and said, "You're going to be a champion tonight." And I was like, "Oh, this ought to be fun." And I got to wrestle Justin Lee, who's one of the top guys out of Oklahoma. He was the first light heavyweight champion, and I was the first one to beat him with it. So we go down there, and then he's like, "Hey, somebody might call. Like, they want to run shows in Kansas. They just haven't done any yet. Like, who knows where it's going to be?" And Mr. Fitness got a hold of me, said, "Hey, we're going to run Junction City. I want you to come be a part of it." And we've been running there. It's about every 3 months that he runs a show down there in Junction, and then he's working on expanding out to go to other towns throughout Kansas and just expand his brand. So
that's awesome. That is awesome.
Absolutely. So, Burt, I want to talk to you about the elephant in the room, if you will. Let's talk about Rey Leon's promo.
Oh, yeah.
So,
football guy?
Radio.
Oh, radio.
Yeah.
So the illustrious one claims he's ready for this Saturday, and you're going to be defending the light heavyweight title against him. You posted on Facebook that you wanted to tell the world of the 13 reasons Burt Cameron is better than Rey Leon. The floor is yours, my friend. Let's hear them, all 13.
It's 13 plus reasons.
Yeah.
Okay.
13 plus.
So, I mean, he started by complimenting me by saying how good looking I am. So that's already one thing that I'm better than Rey at. So I guess Rey, that deserves a gold medal.
It does. Rey's kind of ugly. Rey's kind of ugly.
It looks good on me. I wear it well.
You do.
And the more I thought about it, Rey, he's the illustrious one. He's had to give himself a nickname. And we don't need to do that. I've got Dennis. Dennis, do you have a nickname?
Not one.
No. I walk into a room and people call me champion. So I've earned it. It's not something I've just tagged along and said, "Oh, this is who I am." I've never even called myself good looking. So
that's a good thing.
Thanks. Right here. Dennis, I think you deserve a medal. Because you know what? Rey can't grow hair.
I have the best hair in wrestling.
So we'll give you a winner.
Oh, feels so special.
I've got all this too.
Thanks,
I think that classifies. We'll take another medal. Like right now, I'm already catching up to Rey. What's he got? 3 in his videos?
I think that's right. 3.
So we can go back to the childhood though too. I've been winning things since I was a little kid. 1997. I could have been a professional bowler if I wanted. This right here was earned, not just given to me. But you know what? We'll take another gold medal.
Wait a second, Burt. Did you win that in St. Joe, Missouri?
Yes, 1997 Junior Open champion.
All right. Well,
Nice.
to be fair, Burt, 3/4 of St. Joe is on meth. So
that means they're focused.
And great bowlers.
There you go.
That's debatable.
And
But I'll let it slide.
They found us.
That's debatable, but I'll let it slide.
And I mean, we could make a 7-10 split joke with their smiles too, but we'll leave that be. So 1998, right down here, we've got ourselves a Little League championship. Does Rey Leon have one of those? Doubtful. What do you think, Dennis? No?
I don't think that guy knows what a baseball is.
That's another gold medal. Man.
Excuse me.
I'm feeling better than Ray at this point. So, right here, I run a fantasy football league. I've won that. More championships. Non-stop, Ray. Winner, winner. Oh, and I had chicken for dinner. That's going to get me another one.
Winner, chicken dinner.
What'd you have for dinner?
I had chicken as well.
Well, here you go. There's one for dinner.
I'll tell you what, Bert, your sidekick, Dennis, is already light years above what Rey Leon's sidekicks are. I don't know if you've seen them, but he's got.
Who says Bert's not my sidekick?
Heard that. Wish I didn't, but I did. But he's got Dickie Richards, which I would take Dennis over Dickie Richards any day of the week. He also Dennis is also better than Valencia y Paz. Angel's injured, so Bruisador is not much to talk about. So, I mean, like
should
I said,
I give Dennis another medal?
Yeah,
absolutely. All right, Dennis.
1,000%. Give him a medal because he didn't break his arm like Angel did.
So, I mean,
medal, Dennis.
You gotta
medal, Dennis.
You gotta think the Empire is just, by the sounds of it, it's just filled with a bunch of little dicks.
It is. It is. I agree.
Wow, I think I've got better. I would say I've got better jokes than Ray, but I mean, he cut a pretty good radio promo on a football field. Like, I'm surprised they even let him on that field. So I can't give myself a medal for better jokes.
He also takes the Empire to Applebee's.
That greases the wheels, though.
It does. It does. But while we're on the subject, you realize that Dennis has as many gold medals as Kurt freaking Angle. And Kurt freaking Angle won the Olympic gold medals with a broken freaking neck. So
Dennis's neck, 100% intact.
I think Dennis deserves a fourth medal because he's won as many medals as Kurt Angle.
We can do that. We're just showing why we're better and better than everybody in professional wrestling at this point.
I love it.
So,
I love it. I'm so glad that the illustrious one, Rey Leon, is here to watch this because
it's even better.
It is. So he's got a
like,
he's got
I take
a little
all
bit
of
of a
this
taste.
serious when I get into it.
He's got a taste of what he's going to get this weekend. So
I mean, it's going to be 9 months of holding this beautiful title right here. And I don't plan on losing it. It's one of the most fun things that I've done. It's my first one ever. Like, it's my baby at this point. 9 months is how long it takes. You probably didn't know that, Dennis.
Learn something new every day.
So, but to continue on, I mean, we've got championship rings, and you don't just get these ordering online. Like, we're up every morning. That's where the pre-workout and the protein comes in. I'm up 4:30 in the morning. I'm 2 hours in the gym to start my day off. Like, I'm getting bigger and stronger every single day. Ray might be a little bit faster than me, but I'm pretty sure Meatloaf said that 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Yeah.
A little faster than you?
We'll just keep giving you gold medals.
There you go. So, Bert, I know this is going to be a huge match. This is one of the ones that I was most excited for. But I didn't want to interrupt your medal giving because this is going to be a fun deal here. But what is, I wanted to ask you this. You have a t-shirt in our promo art, Men with Morals.
Yes.
And I know you kind of explained this. I watched a couple interviews. You kind of explained this. I love the story about how this became to be. Kind of talk to us about the Men with Morals and how that kind of came into existence, and all that good stuff. Also, I don't know if this blends in with it. Tell us about your name, how you got your name as well, because that was a good story as well.
Yeah. It started, we were up here training. I trained with a whole bunch of people up here under Niles Blanquet. One of the guys that I got fairly close with was Ernie Elwood. So Ernie got his name he picked it from his grandpa's middle names on both sides of his family. And he's like, I'm going to name myself Ernie Elwood. I'm like, man, that's a great name. Like, chef's kiss it at that point. And we were just sitting around, and I was like, all right, I got to think of something to play off of that. And, I live in Elwood, Kansas currently. And I was like, you know what? You picked my hometown, like current residence as, your last name. I was like, so just to get you back at it, I'm going to pick your hometown. So I picked Cameron. We sat around having some beers, and he just goes, you got to name yourself Burt so we can be Burt and Ernie. Which is also where Dennis comes in. Because if you're going to do Sesame Street, you might as well just go ahead and get a puppet that introduces you.
And that's where that logo comes in, too, because that's a Sesame Street inspired logo, too.
One of my good friends, she does a lot of graphic design. She's actually designed scarves for Sporting Kansas City. The Blue Health 2022 Cauldron membership is a scarf that she designed. I think it's one of the best ones out there. I've got like 3 of them just to make sure that I never go empty on them. And I hit her up. I was like, hey, this is what I want. Like, I'm thinking I've got blue trunks and everything else. Like, let's get a logo that's in that vicinity of blue. And it's just kind of stuck around at this point.
That's awesome.
But the Men with Morals, it came from, we were at a Journey Pro show, watching it, having a great time. I left my wallet at home. I wanted a beer. Bartender hooked me up with one. So I was like, thank you. Great night. Like, I got to get home. I got to work tomorrow. And out of nowhere, this lady comes up, complimenting my hair. I'm glad I didn't have you at the time, because she probably would have taken you home.
Well, she'd been lucky if I had her.
And she was more than 2 beers in, and she kept throwing it at us. And I was like, man, I got to go home. She's like, let's go out to the bars. Let's go out to the club. Like, it'll be a great night. And it's like, I'm good. Like, I've got no money on me. Like, I need to go home. I got to work tomorrow. And it just jokingly came up of, I've got morals. And Ernie goes, maybe we should be the Men with Morals. And it just stuck. It sounds great, and it's worked out where we could be heel, we could be face. We don't have to really, our attitude just changes, and that's it. So.
That's awesome.
Burt, I want to talk to you about the Windy Wine sign you have behind you.
There it is.
Where are you conducting this interview at?
We are at the Windy Wine Company that is owned by Niles Blanquet. So we train up here, we have a good time, we party, we talk about all things wrestling, and it's just got the best lighting that we could find.
Nice.
No, Miranda just posted that there's going to be an event or a taping or something going on there next middle of July or something like that.
Yeah, it's going to be on the 14th. I know Niles is getting everybody laid out for that one of who he wants up here, but we need. It's going to be a filming, I guess, is what I've been told. I know I'm booked on it, so it's all exhibition matches. We always have a blast when we do them, and it's just a fun time getting together. We need some people in the audience, and I'm sure if you guys aren't busy that Friday, you can come up.
Yeah, it's only an hour away.
Yeah, I'm never busy on a Friday, so.
Yep.
I wanted to ask you again. You mentioned Journey Pro. Did you ever do any work for Journey Pro, or did you only attend Journey Pro as a fan?
I've only attended Journey Pro as a fan.
So we've talked about TAPW, New Breed, and Mid States, and I know you've done a little bit of work with Rocky Mountain Pro. kind of talk to us about some of your other promotions you've worked with. Is it just kind of strictly here in the Midwest, or have you traveled elsewhere?
No, we've gone a little bit of everywhere at this point, running up, basically through the Midwest and a little bit. I guess if you count Texas as south, that's south. I guess everything of Oklahoma is south. I've done work for Tim Rockwell in WFC. I've gone down. I do a masked character at Core. That's a lot of fun just to do. The headsman runs a show, a week-long fair that they do in Wichita Falls, Texas, that we're going to go down and do the whole week this year. Great place to go down and just get some reps in, and it's in front of a just enormous crowd of rotating fans. So you get to go out and do something different every time, and nobody really knows what's going on when it comes to the fan aspect, because they're like just walking in the door to go get a corn dog, and you're like, oh wow, there's wrestling. Let's stick around and watch this a little bit. And a good way to test out some characters. Been up to Steel Domain, and they're out of Bloomington, Minnesota. Done a lot of work for them, and slowly getting my name further up there and making a good reputation for ourselves.
Nice. Burt, if you don't mind me asking, how close are you to the Kansas City area?
I'm from St. Joe, so I'm only an hour north of Kansas City.
Fantastic.
Nice.
So you would be very interested in working in Kansas City, correct?
Yeah, I would. Whenever the opportunity arises. I mean, I'm always one call away. I know a couple people that run down there. I haven't got my foot in that door yet. I know those CSW shows are tough ones to get in. They're stacked cards, man. So I get it. And typically I'm running a mid-state show. They tend to run parallel to one another. So it's just finding the right time and the opportunity and just making the most of it.
Yep.
So my bad.
I was going to bring this comment up here. Brian J wanted to know what time on the 14th up there. Do you know?
7. Yeah, we plan on starting the show at 7. So
there you go, Brian. Thanks, Dennis.
He reads the fine print. He's got small eyes.
There you go.
Night classes are paying off.
I like it. I don't hate it.
Is there someone in the mid area in the independent scene that you have not gotten a chance to work with that you hope to be able to get in the ring with at some point in time?
Yeah, Dennis.
I mean, top of my thought has always been Luke Langley. We've trained with him a little bit down in Kansas City, and he's just phenomenal. And, they say working Luke's just a night off. You just follow his lead, you listen to him, and, I feel like it'd be a great show. And that's one of them that I would love to work. I've got to work Niles already a couple of times. Same thing, just a blast. I'd love to work Colton Vaught as well, but the two faces here, I don't know if that'll ever happen. I know there's a plan, hopefully, to get a tournament going with all these state championships. So maybe we see that Colton versus Burt Cameron match somewhere down the road.
I don't hate it.
Nope.
Burt, as we kind of wind this thing down, I wanted to ask you, for you to kind of tell our viewers what bookings and ventures do you have going on over the next few weeks?
This month I've only got let's see. I've got the TAPW show this weekend. Yeah. And then the following week I've got the New Breed show. So I've got a pretty open month right now. I mean, I'm available if anybody needs me, but at the same time, I just ran 4 weeks straight, going everywhere from Minnesota and down to Arkansas last month. So a little bit of a break isn't that bad of a plan either. But you never know what might happen. I know I'm going to tag along Judy Azul with her up to Lincoln.
Judy Azul?
Yeah, your girl.
I love Judy Azul.
Wonder why.
I think the blue hair.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about that before we get out of here. You posted a promo, and you had Red James in that promo. What promotion was that for? Or is that just kind of you two just shooting the shit?
That was just us having fun. So
okay.
We were up here.
You can have fun. Oh, wait a second. You can have fun with Red James?
I mean, we got to tell him to shut up.
Shut up, Red.
There we go. There we go.
So,
That was a
I don't
phenomenal
think-
promo, by the way. I absolutely loved it.
I didn't
thank
think
you.
you could. I didn't think it was possible to have fun with Red James.
Well, it took us a couple shots, which is unusual for us. Usually we do one-take promos, and that's why, I mean, that's another gold medal. I'm sure Ray took 3, 4, 5 times, I mean, even to pick out the music that he laid in the background. So,
yeah.
But, yeah, we typically 1 take, 2 takes at most for our promos with Dennis. We have a fun time. We shot a 4th of July video that I've been doing for years now. I posted those on my personal page, and I gave everybody something a little different this year, and I just let Dennis go wild on Sesame Street characters, and he definitely made it memorable.
Yep.
I like it.
We talked a little bit about merchandise. Is there a spot online or somewhere we can buy some Burt Cameron merchandise?
I currently don't have anything online. I've got everything at my live events, so anything that I go. But I mean, if somebody messages me and they want something, I'll send it to them. I've got friends out in Cleveland, Ohio that I've sent merch to because they wanted a Men with Morals shirt.
So what do you have? Just men's with Mortal shirt. What other merch do you have?
Yeah, I've got 2 shirts. I've got a white shirt and a pink shirt. Dennis is repping the white one right now, so he's growing into it. And I've got 8x10s. I've got keychains, magnets, stickers. Company here in town called Yellow Frog Graphics has hooked me up very well with all the merchandise that I've ordered from them. T-shirts are pre-shrunk, 50-50 blends, which is phenomenal that they hold up just like the first time you wore them.
Right. Awesome. So where can everybody follow you on social media?
I get the most traction off my Facebook page. It's Burt Cameron. Instagram is Burt Cameron Wrestles, and then we've got the Men with Morals PW. That is a combined page that we try to do more like fanfare stuff on that. If anybody that's out with their Men with Morals shirt, like I've got my brother-in-law was running a 5K in the Men with Morals shirt in Kansas City, so that's one of the pictures that we posted to share and just kind of get them out there and let them be seen and let them know that they're more than moral supporters to us.
Awesome.
Burt, I don't know if you heard the intro, but at the end of every interview, we always ask our guests to say, we'll put you full screen and we'll ask you to turn the gimmick up a little bit, to 100 and just say, hey, this is Burt Cameron and you're watching the I-70 Hot Tag. Can you do that for us?
Yeah, we can do that for you.
Fantastic.
Yep. You can start once you get to full screen.
All right. This is Burt Cameron.
Dennis Morals.
And you're watching the I-70 Hot Tag.
I thought you said it was iCarly.
Oh, Dennis.
I love it. Burt, we appreciate you and Dennis taking the time out of your busy schedules to come on the show and kind of talk to us and our viewers. We appreciate everything you've done, and we look forward to seeing you around the Kansas and Missouri area, okay?
All right, sounds good. I'm sure we'll see you guys around as well.
I'm buddy here. Talk to you guys later.
Yep, thank you.
All right, Burt Cameron. What an interview, Chase. How you feeling, sir?
I'm feeling fantastic, man. I was digging it, sir. Yeah. I was digging it, man. Dennis and Burt Cameron, man. Can't ask for much more.
Nope.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is you. This is the part in the show where that we take a 5-minute intermission. Go to the bathroom, get you something to drink, something to eat, but make sure you stay tuned for the intermission show. Josh works really hard on those videos and kind of shows you promos and shows you events coming up and whatnot. So we'll show that, and we'll be back in about
5-ish minutes. Going to break down some WrestleMax STL. Going to look at some CSW and some more. Brian J, my man, show that comment again.
No,
Don't show that comment. All right. Thanks, Brian. I see it. I see you. All right. See you guys in 5.
So it goes a little something like this. July 22nd, Greater Kansas City Boys and Girls Club. KCXW is presenting Extreme Liberty, baby. Yeah, let me tell you something. In the name of liberty, just like all the brave men and women of the armed forces who protect and defend this great country, the big dog will protect and defend his KCXW championship against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That means you, realist. I suggest you're ready. Because guess what? You're not walking into a fight. Hell no. This isn't even going to be a battle. This is KCXW. This is Extreme Liberty. You and I, son, we're going to war. Let me tell you something. The big dog daddy, well, he's coming locked and loaded.
Trailblazer Championship Wrestling. Jared Thumb here, the undefeated Thumb, ever since the very first show ever. And, well, that means I have a pretty big target on my back. Everybody wants to give me my first loss, which means I'm looking for reinforcements. And I'm looking no further than one of the best in the Midwest in rapid delivery, Rory Fox. Tell him, Rory.
That's right, Jared. This is Rapid Delivery Rory Fox, and I've had success all over the country. And the Fox and Thumb, we've won in other areas, and now we want to bring that success to Trailblazer Championship Wrestling, July 22nd. Ottawa, Kansas.
Burt Cameron, pretty boy Cam, the TAPW champion. One heck of a talent, one heck of a douchebag. Burt, I've been watching your film for a little bit now, ever since I got the contract to wrestle you in Junction City, Kansas on July 8th. For that light heavyweight champion that you have around your waist. Listen, bruh. You are good, but you are not the illustrious one. You are not him. You are not the truth. You are not Rey Leon. I am not just some regular Joe Schmo professional wrestler that you've ever wrestled. No, dude, I am the next step up. You may be champion, but I am your litmus test to see how good you actually are. What you're gonna find out is that there are levels to the game, son. And if you want to be king, first you gotta run through my jungle. And ain't nobody getting out alive.
Welcome back, everybody, to the I-70 Hot Tag. I am your host, Chase Riley, and I am joined with my co-host, the real Josh Elliott, and we just got done interviewing Burt Cameron. Josh, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great, man. We didn't get to do our how are you doing this evening earlier, so I'm doing fantastic, sir. It's been a great week. Busy week. The Elliott trifecta. Got 4th of July. We going to the lake tomorrow. Man, and I'm on vacation, so it's been great.
Look at Sunny Money says, hope you guys are good. Hello from beautiful Branson. I thought about going to the Branson this weekend. I had the urge to do something spontaneous, so I might go to Branson. I don't know.
Was your spontaneous decision hang out with Jerry? Inside joke.
Yes.
Anyway,
inside joke. What do we got on the docket for the second half of the show?
Well, Mr. Riley, CR Media, you went to St. Louis last weekend and got to witness WrestleMax STL, KDL's or KLD's promotion. And Burt Cameron's another guy who I was lucky enough to have Sunny Money announce him to the ring for his very first match. Nice.
Now, wait a second. Does Sunny Money Mayo does ring announcing?
He did. He did.
Do you think that's something that Sunny Money would still be interested in?
I don't know. Depends.
Maybe.
That's a question for Sunny Money, not a question for the real Josh Elliott.
Yeah. Maybe not. Maybe go fuck yourself.
Maybe.
So.
But
yeah, he did ring announcing for XWE.
Yep. And I know Renee did.
Sunny Money, are you? Oh, look, Sunny Money's still interested in doing ring announcing.
Man, with the exclamation point too, like, yeah,
I don't hate it.
Renee over at the Wrestle Talk, he does commentary. At least he did for UCW. I think he used to do it for XWE.
Yep.
I don't know if he still does it. I don't think he does it for XWE anymore. But
no, he doesn't.
He did it for Premier. Was it Premier Independent Wrestling, PIW, there before they? I don't know if they were officially closed yet, but they have not run an event for 9 months.
So, not that I'm interested because I'm not looking for a ring announcer.
Marlboro Menthols, brother.
But Sunny Money wants to let everybody know that he gets paid in Groupons and a pack of Marlboro Menthols. So
there you go.
If there's any promotions out there looking for a ring announcer, Sunny Money is cheap.
First singles match, second ever. Look at that. Burt's in the. Was that the? I guess that's the Sunny's comment.
Yeah, agreed. So WrestleMax was crazy to say the least. And when I say crazy, I mean crazy good. Because we started off the night, we got there fairly early, my wife and my son and I. And as we get in, we're sitting down and we're waiting for the festivities to begin, if you will. And right before the preliminary match, lightning strikes a tree across the street and knocks off power to the venue that WrestleMax is in.
Damn.
So our good friend Joey O'Fallon was making sure that all the fans were ready to use their cell phones if need be.
We've seen that before.
Yes. But luckily for WrestleMax, they had a sponsorship from an attorney's office, and they were in attendance for the event. And they had an extra generator in the trunk of their car. So they were able to hook up the generator and plug in a bunch of extension cords and get enough lighting and stuff working to where we could enjoy the event. I mean, I don't know what else to say besides every single St. Louis promotion that I have been to has put on a phenomenal show. It makes me love the St. Louis area. I have put on a blinders, so to speak. Josh can attest to this. I am not a huge fan of St. Louis. It's just not my cup of tea. I grew up in the South Kansas City metro area, in a very nice neighborhood. So when I go to St. Louis, I'm not a very big inner city kid and not a very big inner city fan. But St. Louis has grown on me quite a bit since we started doing this podcast. That is a gigantic moth. I don't know if you could see that flying. There he is.
Nope.
It's
got to be on camera for me to see it.
Well, he was kind of like right here
bad.
for a little bit. Yeah. But now he's like over here in this area. But anyways, with the events that we have gone to in St. Louis, I've become a humongous St. Louis supporter, especially given the fact that the St. Louis wrestling scene is out of this world.
Yeah.
Dan the Dad, Mike Outlaw, KLD, No New Friends. They all three put on great shows wherever they go, no matter what, whether they're working the talent or they're booking the shows, it doesn't matter. And WrestleMax, this past show was no different. With the generator running and me there with my wife and my son, every single time we had to get up, we had to go, walk in the dark. But it didn't matter. It was an amazing show. I will start with the main event and tell you that not a soul in attendance was upset that Raheem De La Suede is your new River City champion.
Hell yeah.
Which is the championship that WrestleMax displays as their main championship. So Raheem De La Suede, man, is carrying the mantle in WrestleMax. And I don't hate it.
Good for him, man.
Yeah.
Good for him. That guy is a special talent, and I'm sure the crowd was just as shocked as you were, because you've got, I'm sure Mike Outlaw in that match was the hands down favorite to win that match, and to have Raheem come out victorious, and that's his first. I'm probably going to get this wrong. It's his first major title in one of our companies, I believe. If I'm not, he's had multiple tag team title runs, but I don't think he's held a main singles title, like the top title in a promotion yet. So good for him.
Yep. So, Brian J brings up a very good point. He said, who did Raheem beat? So, like I said, I'm working from the bottom up. So, before I work from the bottom up, let's start. Lou Fisto and Calvin Tankman had a match. Calvin Tankman dominated that match. Lou Fisto is she's a veteran. She's a very strong talent in this game. But if you guys are not familiar with Calvin Tankman is a big human being who beats the absolute fuck out of anybody he's in the ring with.
Yep.
So it's not it's not a matter of, gender or size. It's just a matter of, Calvin Tankman is a big individual who fucks shit up. So Calvin Tankman destroyed Lou Fisto in the match. And after the match, after he destroyed her, he got on the microphone and mentioned that he was inserting himself into the main event, which was supposed to be a 6-pack challenge. But Raheem, I'm sorry, Karam was not in attendance for the event. He was not able to make it. So Calvin
Is
Tankman,
that just? I want to clarify. Is that Karam Brigman or is that Karam from Glory Pro?
Karam, Glory
Okay.
Pro. Yeah.
Okay.
Karam was not able to attend the event, so Tankman took his place, and he announced that after he got done demolishing LuFisto.
Nice.
So, and then before I talk about the main event as well, KLD decided to come out and make an announcement. Obviously, he was supposed to wrestle at this event. He was not able to wrestle. He was supposed to face Brian Keith. ATM took his place. But KLD was also the booker of this event. So KLD was going to come out and make an announcement and kind of talk about the event in general. Calvin Tankman attacked him. For those not aware, KLD was not able to wrestle at the event because he had just had surgery. So he was not medically cleared for in-ring action. So, like I said, he came out to make an announcement, and Calvin Tankman attacked him and wanted to make a statement. For those not familiar, Calvin Tankman has been running amok in the St. Louis area, and this was just another notch in his hat. He wanted to attack KLD to make his claim for the King of St. Louis, which was very hard to argue at the time. So, like I said, working from bottom up, we got the main event. Calvin Tankman is in this event, along with Davey Vega, Merck, who we saw recently at CSW, also Camaro Jackson, Raheem De La Suede, and Mike Outlaw. The goal in mind for everybody in that match was to get Calvin Tankman out. But it was Davey Vega and Merck who were eliminated first.
Oh, so it was an elimination match. I did not realize that.
Yes,
Okay.
it was an elimination match. And then Calvin Tankman eliminated both of those individuals, both Davey Vega and Merck. And then it was down to Mike Outlaw, Raheem De La Suede, and Calvin Tankman. And Camaro Jackson. Camaro Jackson was eliminated after Davey Vega and Merck were. So then the bottom three were Calvin Tankman, Raheem De La Suede, and Mike Outlaw. KLD came out for revenge. The non-medically cleared KLD, who was attacked by Calvin Tankman earlier in the night, came out and made sure that Tankman was eliminated. And then we were down to the final two, and that was Mike Outlaw and Raheem De La Suede. And Raheem De La Suede pulled it out, man. And it was amazing. So
That's awesome, man.
I was not expecting it. As soon as it came down to Raheem De La Suede and Mike Outlaw, I was like, oh, this is Mike Outlaw's to win. And then when Raheem De La Suede got the 3 count, which was hilarious, I recorded a video right before Raheem De La Suede got the 3. And so, I recorded this video. It was a near fall. I didn't think anything of it. Raheem De La Suede gets the 3. I didn't have enough time to get my camera pulled up to catch the 3 count. So I caught the referee getting the title and handed it to Raheem De La Suede. So it is what it is.
Yep.
But I mean, it just capped off the night and an amazing event. The other matches that were involved, we saw Su Yung versus Blair Onyx. It was a crazy event. I mean, think Demon Finn Balor versus the Fiend Bray Wyatt. That's what that match was. It was amazing. It was very hard hitting. It was strong style. And then at the end, it had all this supernatural stuff. Su Yung came away with the win. And at the end, she was able to possess Blair Onyx and carry Blair Onyx with her to the backstage area. So Su Yung advanced on to the finals of the women's WrestleMax Championship tournament, which the counterpart to that was Missa Kate versus Billy Starks. Man, if you if you've been watching our podcast very long, you guys know that we are huge fans of Billy Starks. Billy Starks is from the Louisville, Kentucky area, but St. Louis put Billy Starks on the map. And that's hard to argue. She walked into St. Louis Anarchy when she was 14 years old. And that's
here
just
we are 4 years later.
Yeah.
Tearing it up on the indie scene and in AEW.
Correct. And so she faced Missa Kate, who is one half of the women's tag team champions in the NWA, the National Wrestling Alliance. And, Billy Starks came away with a victory. So we've got Billy Starks versus Su Yung at the next WrestleMax event, which WrestleMax announced, and we'll talk about that afterwards. But Billy Starks versus Su Yung to crown the first ever WrestleMax women's champion. So that was very exciting as well. And the match prior to that was one of the main matches that I came to see, and that was the Premier versus the Rascals.
Yeah.
And it was crazy because you had his name was Nash Carter in NXT, and obviously we know about his demise in NXT of what happened. And then of course Trey Miguel, and for as much shit as we give Campbell Myers and Soup SK Bishop on this show, when I very first watched those two become a tag team, and I had to pick, like, hey, who does those two guys remind me of? The Rascals is it. And, Campbell kind of, touched on that a little bit when that match was announced. It was a dream match for those two kids.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine. The one thing that stuck out like sore thumb is Kenway. Kenway was at the event, and he was with the Premier, and he just added this extra element to SK and Campbell that you just like up here, like, how annoying and over the top SK and Campbell can be.
Yeah.
And like Kenway just takes it to a 10. So, I don't know if Kenway plans on staying with Campbell and SK outside of the St. Louis area, but it would be extremely beneficial to those two guys if so.
Yeah.
Because like I said, he just adds an extra element to it.
Just to ask you, because you were at the Kansas City show as well, CSW, which he was there. Did he have anything to do with the Premier?
Negative.
Completely separate. Okay.
Completely separate.
All right.
Which is why I said, hey, like if they're going to if they're going to be together, that may be something that they talk to the Kansas City promotions about. Like, hey, like Kenway is with us.
Yeah.
Because like I said, if maybe that's something they do, because Kenway was introduced to Kansas City and CSW, and we know the story that's going on right now with the Premier and Roscoe Leach.
Yeah,
maybe that is something they elect to do with Kenway instead. So it would be very interesting. I'm not going to talk about the Kenway match just yet. Dan the Dad and Mance Warner was an absolute. It was a breath of fresh air. As I've talked a million times, my ideal card, and me as a wrestling fan myself, I like a little bit of everything. You sprinkle it all in, I love it, man. You got a little bit of comedy stuff, you got a little bit of serious story, you got a little bit of comedy, whatever the case may be. You get a little bit of hardcore, a little bit of blood in your mouth, stuff. Whatever you can throw into the card, I love. I'm a big fan of mixing your plate, so to speak. And so Mance Warner and Dan the Dad was the comedic part, if you could have one. So much so, that Mance Warner took a beer from one of the fans and poured it in Dan the Dad's mug, much like this mug that I have right here from Dan the Dad.
Oh, you mean that mug right there?
Yes, that mug right there. And they were just having a beer, just two guys having a beer, and then it turned into Mance Warner spitting said beer in Dan the Dad's face, which got all over my wife. So
I'm sure she loved that.
Well, I think it was the lights going out, there being no air conditioning, them having the doors open, so there was bugs coming in, and then Dan the Dad, or then Mance Warner spitting beer, that all piled onto one.
Right.
So if you ask her, she will tell you that she had a blast. But like I said, if you add all that up into one, I don't know if the math adds up, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah. Kenway fought Moses. It was exactly what you thought it was because, like I said, Kenway was with the Premier, so it was Moses all by himself taking on the Premier. So Kenway came away with the victory, and we already talked about Calvin Tankman and Lufisto. So the other match was the match that KLD was supposed to be a part of, but KLD wasn't able to make. So it was Brian Keith versus ATM. Brian Keith was supposed to be the heel just because ATM is the St. Louis local. But I've been a big fan of Brian Keith, since I met him at GCW in LA and told him, hey, like I'm with the Hot Tag. We sponsored your match against the Howlets at CSW. Like he always recognizes me. He's always like, hey, what's up?
Nice.
So, it's hard not to be a plus, I grew up in the age of, Brian Keith's theme song is a Mike Jones song. So I grew up in that era.
Who?
So Mike Jones. So yeah, every single time Brian Keith's music hits, I always get hyped up, and so it's hard not to root for Brian Keith. But Brian Keith was obviously playing the heel.
Yeah.
Brian Keith came away with the win. So, like I said,
Nice.
given the circumstances of what happened, with the power, the power going out, luckily, thankfully, to one of the sponsors of the event, I'm not familiar with who it was, but it was an attorney's office. One of the attorneys in attendance had a generator in his car, so he was able to pull the generator out. And like I said, they were able to hook a bunch of extension cords and all their equipment up to it, so we were able to see the show without having to look at it in the dark.
Right.
I will tell you that Ben Simon was extremely miserable. So he may not admit that, but I sat right behind Ben Simon, and he was miserable. So
Was it just hot or what?
Yeah. There was no air conditioning, and it was extremely muggy. And Ben Simon was absolutely miserable.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
He took his suit jacket off, and then he had to put it back on, and then he took it off again, and so
yeah, I can only imagine.
But it was
awesome,
man.
man.
An amazing event. So
yeah, that was one I definitely wish I was able to be there with you for it. They did, we talked about this last week, but on August 25th is going to be their next show. Tickets are on sale now, I think.
Yes.
WMSTL.ticketleap.com. You see all the wrestlers there. You're going to get Billy Starks versus Sue Young for that. It's for the women's title, right?
Correct.
It's the finals. Yeah.
Yep.
So Kenway will be there. Raheem, the new River City champion. Mike Outlaw, Dan the Dad, KLD, Karam, Blair Onyx. So same location, Columbia Turner Hall, just across the state line to get out of that pesky Missouri Athletic Commission. So go check them out, guys. WrestleMax STL, St. Louis is absolutely killing it. You talked about it before, Matt Jackson, you've got Joey O'Farrell, you've got Dan the Dad, you've got KLD. And I tell you what, man, all four of those owners of all four of those promotions, I know MMWA is one as well, but they don't really, they're not really intermingled with those four. Those four work together very well. And we saw that at Grandel
shows.
Yeah, and they put on they showed their ability to work together at the Grandel show. When you've got WrestleMax ring aprons, when you've got the Gateway Heritage Championship being defended on that show, and you've got all four promotions work very well together, and it's awesome to see. Love with as much talent as they have there, and with Team Forge. It's awesome. It is awesome. So that was WrestleMax, man. There's been some rumblings out of Central States Wrestling. We talked last week that their next show is it's an Iron Man match for Iron Sharpens Iron, Central States Wrestling. And they've announced 2 matches since our last Hot Tag episode on Thursday. And we're going to talk about both of them here today. We've already talked about them a little bit earlier. Is the premiere still with Roscoe Leach taking on the Hate Keepers? This event's happening July 29th. Same location, Lenexa National Guard Armory. CSWtickets.com to get your tickets. But the premiere against the Hate Keepers. So this was
yes. For those watching, or those listening later on after the show, watching later on after the show, if you were at the last CSW event, you were able to see Campbell and SK called out Roscoe Leach, and it was one of those. It was really, really awkward. Extremely awkward, because they were like, hey, we forgive you, but it didn't seem genuine, if you know what I mean, because Roscoe almost cost them the match against Gary J and Davey Vega, but they were able to, obviously the 2 slime balls were able to weasel by, but after the match, Roscoe went ahead and headed to the back, and then they got back in the ring and they were like, hey, Roscoe, come out here. We're not going to hurt you. And I really thought, like I said, Campbell is not, he's not the most believable person, if you will. So Campbell made it seem like he was calling Roscoe Leach out so he could, drop him. Right. And it didn't happen. So I don't know. Maybe Campbell Myers' heart is bigger than what I thought it was, or maybe that was a subliminal message to Roscoe Leach, letting him know, like, hey, if you mess up again, we will take you out.
So, what I'm thinking is going to happen is Roscoe is going to do the same thing against the Hate Keepers. They're almost going to lose, and the Premier is going to barely take the victory, and then they're going to almost turn on Roscoe again. And then whatever happens in August or September, that's going to be when Roscoe costs the Premier a match. And that's going to be the boiling point that gets the Premier to turn on him. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Still, Roscoe's still kind of this is a very long, prolonged storyline with him. He's been a completely different person since he was in that cage with Coach Froz back in December. So I think the boiling point, the turning point, the end of the Premier and Roscoe's relationship is going to be when he cost them a match. And I don't think it's going to be this month, but I think it will eventually happen. And I think it'll be the next event after this one. So
sorry, I apologize. I'm getting into a Twitter spat with Casey Carrington. He thinks that his goofy looking kid with wearing a Jason mask and a knife is going to scare me or my kid.
Yeah.
And my kid plainly looked at him and laughed and said, I'm going to kick that kid in the nuts when I see him.
Demetrius is going to whoop that ass.
Yeah.
It's going to be the prelim match at Anarchy. Circus Maximus.
Casey Carrington's kid can't make the prelim, so
the next match that was announced for CSW, Iron Sharpens Iron, and this is a crazy one here, man. I sent this to you earlier today. The Atrocity Cruel is making his return. Took 1 month off. Undefeated monster, destroys everything in his path. Taking on the Giant Slayer, Scott Tyler, who has never been pinned in Central States Wrestling, undefeated. He is the only match he technically lost was that triple threat match, but again, never was pinned. And this is interesting, man. I said on Twitter, I said on Facebook that in my opinion, there's only 2 outcomes. You all right?
Yes.
All right. There's only 2 outcomes that this match can end with. And that is A, Scott Tyler beats Cruel. There's your number 1. That's option A. Option B is Scott Tyler beats Cruel in a disqualification because Cruel.
Option B should be option A.
Continues.
Option A is not going to happen.
Continues to beat up, dominate, whatever, Scott Tyler to where the referee is trying to stop it. He will not stop. He gets disqualified or it ends in a no contest. And Scott Tyler never loses. Scott Tyler remains undefeated. Cruel gets the disqualification. He remains dominant for what you believe is going to be the ending of the Iron Man match.
Well, I'm not gonna do that. What I am going to do is correct you. Well, because it's an event. Even though you and I are not going to be at the event,
yeah,
it still saves the
surprise,
the mystery, the surprise for the event. Now, I don't even know where the fuck you got option A. Option A is not even on the table, my guy. Option A, in my mind, is Cruel demolishes Scott Tyler. Or option B, Scott Tyler wins by disqualification or match reversal or whatever it is. For you to even imply that Cruel is going to lose cleanly to Scott Tyler is asinine. So
all I'm saying is, in my opinion, Scott Tyler does not. There's no way Scott Tyler loses the match.
Yes. Secondly, want to give a huge shout out to Scott Tyler's sponsor, the figure place.
Top tier figures.
Yeah, top tier figures, man. Definitely a grown man making custom action figures.
Yeah, Chase is a big fan of top tier.
Huge fan. Fan. Oh, love that place.
Brian J wants
get the fuck off the screen.
Okay. Next. That does it for CSW. Now, we're gonna move a little bit north, way more north than what we normally cover, and that's because a company in Iowa ran a show. I believe it was last weekend, could have been 2 weekends ago. 3XW. And they use a lot of our Kansas City, St. Louis area wrestlers. And they posted a lot of pictures of their event this past weekend. It's pretty cool. And I wanted to show you guys this. I retweeted it on the I-70 Hot Tag page. And here's one of the photos. We got about five photos to show you guys. So this one was a photo posted. It's got Moonshine Mantell, Greg Jovi obviously on the microphone with Buff Bagwell opposing them. Dak Draper is on the other side of Greg Jovi. So that kind of shows you what the atmosphere is up there in Iowa. Moonshine and Dak Draper are both with Greg Jovi. Like I said, I retweeted this. Such a cool moment. Greg Jovi posted it as well, to be across the ring from Buff, which ended in both Moonshine and Dak Draper beating the ever-loving shit out of Buff Bagwell. It did happen to Buff, I think, brought out a couple Iowa local wrestlers that I'm not terribly just looking at the picture. I'm not familiar with either one of them, but they did bring them in. I'm pretty sure Moonshine and Dak Draper wrestled against them later in the show. So, anyway, no, I don't think so. I do not think so. You got this one here, the Bad Buns, the 3XW. He's got I'm not sure what championship that is, but he is holding the title. Absolutely love Jay Fowler. One of my favorite wrestlers in the area, man. Like,
I think that's Rugged Pro's championship. I don't know if 3XW and Rugged Pro work together, but that's funny.
It might be right. You might be right.
Yeah, it's Rugged Pro's championship.
All right. Well, Rugged Pro also runs in Iowa, so maybe they're running, maybe it was Rugged Pro title match. You never know. St. Louis promotions run together. Maybe this one was one as well. So,
listen, while we're on the sub, or you showed Jay Fowler, and I want to talk about that for a second. Jay Fowler is not stealing anybody's gimmick or anything like that. Jay Fowler just does a lot of I can't think of the word, tributes to his ring attire, and that's it. So he's done one he's done one for Shawn Michaels, he's done one for Eddie Guerrero here, and I love it, man. Miss Jay Fowler being in the Kansas City area.
Yeah.
Cannot wait for him to come back very, very soon.
I can't believe he's not already, honestly. Even if it's not Kansas City, he's not wrestling in our area. He wrestled in Tri-States, and that was it.
Yep.
But
so
why would you say, just curious, and this is off the cuff, why would you say he's stealing someone else's gimmick? Do people think he's stealing gimmicks?
No, I know a lot of times, like when people post themselves in gear like that, or they do stuff like that, they're like, oh, you're ripping off somebody. And so I just wanted to clarify.
Okay.
Yeah. No. If somebody had accused Jay Fowler of doing so, I'd have put them on blast like that.
Yeah.
So
dude is on a completely different level.
Yes.
Especially since Journey Pro folded. He is.
I would say I would say it was probably, not to toot this guy's horn, because for fuck's sake, he doesn't need it. But Jeremy Wyatt, since he aligned himself with Jeremy Wyatt and Journey Pro, and Jeremy Wyatt kind of showed him like, hey, like this is what you could be. Since then, like it has just been,
he's been on a trajectory.
His stock has been going through the roof. So, and if you're like Josh and I, and you bought stock in Jay Fowler when Journey Pro was on its last leg, then you know how much that return on investment has been. And the fact that he has not been called to, not to throw shade at any of our Kansas City promotions, but the fact that KCXW, fuck any promotion in Kansas and Missouri has not called Jay Fowler is absolute ignorance. And it just shows why Kansas and Missouri is in the shape it's in right now. So
Yeah, and I think like we said, he did come down and wrestle Tri-States a couple months ago. He was in the tournament for the championship.
Correct.
But you're right. I mean, and when we had him on the show, what was that, 2 or 3 months ago? His schedule, he was one of
By the way, not hate to interrupt you, but when we had him on the show, Herb Simmons, who's been in the business for 50 years, was like, bro, come here and be in this Bruiser Brody Battle Royal. Yeah. And Jay Fowler was like, yo, I'm sorry, I'm booked. But like, yo, we had promoters in the chat going, hey, come be a part of this.
Yeah.
So.
And that's what I was getting to, was Jay Fowler was one of the only wrestlers we had that was booked out as like multiple months. He almost said that he had half a year booked already. So not saying, obviously he deserves everything and plus some. He deserves to come down here into Kansas and Missouri and actually, compete in our plethora of talent. But he is absolutely dominating Iowa and Nebraska. He's the Magnum Pro champion. He is the Rugged Pro champion, and he wrestles in 3XW. Multiple promotions up there. But like you said, he's booked. He's booked for all those promotions up there. And if you get a weekend or everybody runs on Saturday. Everybody runs on Saturday. So if you're going to get a Jay Fowler booking, you're going to look 6 months in advance to get him, right? So again, not saying anything, but I agree. I hope to see him sometime in 6-9 months. Maybe come down here in Kansas City, maybe come down here in the Missouri area and wrestle some matches, because the dude is on fire. He is on fire. But you brought up Jeremy Wyatt. I absolutely love this photo. And that is Jeremy Wyatt face to face with the one and only James Storm. And they had a 3XW heavyweight championship match.
Where can I watch that?
Huh?
Where can I watch that?
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know. I would absolutely love to watch, because, dude, like, that had to have been such a awesome moment, awesome match to see live. One of our beloved, I mean, we say beloved, we give him shit all the time, but one of the best wrestlers in Kansas City going against a top name like James Storm, just a couple hours away from us, man.
Yep.
Like that was a cool event. To end it, there it is. James Storm beat the Monarch and is the new 3XW heavyweight champion as he drinks a beer on his way out. Beer money.
Sorry about your damn luck.
So we will be seeing James Storm again at some point in time in the very near future, hopefully, in 3XW wrestling. They run in Iowa, and we'll see.
Hopefully.
Oh, we'll see him.
I mean, he just won the championship, so hopefully, yes, we will see him.
We'll see. Yeah, at some point in time, we'll see him. He'll defend that title at some point. But
yes, I agree.
Anyway.
Yes. Well, my guy.
That about does it, man.
Does it?
I think so. We don't got anything else. We've covered WrestleMax, Central Stage Wrestling. We have covered. We've got quite a few. We got 2 events going on this weekend. This Saturday, July 8th, 2 days away. TAPW. We talked to Burt Cameron about Freedom Brawl, Rey Leon versus Burt Cameron for the Light Heavyweight Championship. Did you get to? I don't know if you had the chance to watch the Rey Leon promo. Did you watch that?
I did.
Phenomenal promo. Hopefully Burt can post something, a promo in response to that.
You think so? Are you sure about that?
I'm sure.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, he posted a promo of with him and Red James, which also equally is badass and funny. But if you guys have not checked him out, go follow Burt Cameron on social media, specifically Facebook. He's more active on Facebook. Burt Cameron with a U, not a U, or not with a U, not an E. And he posts some great promos. MMWA Independence is also this weekend. That's in St. Louis. Completely different state, other opposite end of the state. Stormy Renee is going to MMWA with Nadia White, with Slammer Mania. They're all going to be over there running wild in MMWA this weekend. So if you're in the St. Louis area, go check them out. If you're in the Kansas City, Topeka, Wichita area, go check out TAPW. You will not regret it.
Agreed.
Next weekend, we got New Breed Wrestling in Versailles, Missouri. 2 nights in a row, man. July 14th and 15th. The 15th show is at 3 p.m. The 14th show is, I believe, at 7. Burt Cameron already talked about being there. I believe we're going to get the normal crew, Slammer, Burt Candy, all that good stuff. Dynamo Pro, a company we have not talked about much on the show. They posted. They're going to be at the Farmington Coliseum in Farmington, Missouri. We're going to see Adrian Surge. We're going to see Ashlyn Alexander. Go check them out. And last but not least, WWX World Wrestling Express. They're holding an event, a charity event, Iceman Chuck Singer Body Slam on Cancer in Larned, Kansas. Larned, Kansas. Yeah. Anyway, in the middle of nowhere, Kansas, they're going to hold that charity event, and good on them. We've talked about it last week. They do a lot of charity events, so should be fun.
Nice. I like it. I don't hate it.
That's about it, man. Unless we get too deep into July, but then we start getting cluttered up. So,
yeah, no, we don't want to get too deep into July. We got a lot of announcements coming later this month, so
yeah,
I don't want to get too deep into that.
Heard that. Wish I didn't, but I did.
Wish it didn't, but it did. Want to give a huge shout out to our guest, our future guest, Calvin Aldridge, the realist Calvin Aldridge, former KCXW champion. Should have never lost that title. Hopefully wins it back from the big dummy. That's my stance on that. If you don't like it, then tweet me or Instagram me or whatever. But I'm going to be at KCXW on July 22nd, representing the I-70 hot tag, rooting for the realist Calvin Aldridge, because the big dummy shouldn't have that title. So that's my opinion. If you don't like it, suck it, bitch. Anyways, Josh, you got anything else for us?
I do not, sir.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, my name is Chase. I run CR Media. This is my friend, the real Josh Elliott, and as always, goodbye and good night.